I have a question to ask you guys. So I don't know. This might not be like a good question for everybody, but like, what does Tarantino mean to you guys in the world of movies? I guess.
Mm.
Like, has he had any impact? Has he not? Is it?
He's had a definite
I don't know.
impact on me. I mean, I
Yeah.
think the thing I take away the most from Tarantino is entertainment value. Not in a, like not that he's only giving me that, but he knows what makes a film like watchable and entertaining and like a good movie. And
Mhm.
I don't know. Like I've said, I think I've said it before. I looked at him to to screen or to scene write just to like make sure like things that are happening are punchy and characters are
Yeah,
making decisions and there's turns and they're like saying zippy shit. I don't know. It's just he's a great filmmaker. He's one of my favorite. He's top five for sure of mine. So
yeah. Okay. Anybody else, or is it just another movie guy?
No, I mean, I think like especially through this watch through for me, I don't know, just like every single one of his characters feel special, and like a lot of the times it's like the characters like within the first few lines of like like you figure you out. I don't know. It's
just
just
feel it.
yeah, you just like it's like these characters, people like this or something. You can
Hang out
relate
with
to
them,
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I just love how fleshed out all of his characters are. Um, and I think that just like lends itself to the world building. So it's like those for me, those are like his foundation for films. His films, it
Yeah,
seems like he just like knows who he wants his characters.
definitely.
And yeah, so I don't know. I vibe with that because that's like I feel like that's where most of my strength lies in writing is like trying to flesh out certain characters so that people kind of like know what type of character they are. So yeah, I've enjoyed like that aspect most of this watch through.
Cool.
Yeah. But
I
entertainment
think
value as well. They're just badass films. I mean,
I
it's
was gonna say
just
that too. Like
yeah,
just entertainment value alone, I feel like I don't know. Yeah. All of his movies are entertaining. But like I think for me, I've been like probably overly critical of like the last couple of movies or just like of all of these movies in general. But like he obviously doesn't make bad movies. Like even Death Proof was
Yeah,
yeah,
good. Like I don't know. I think like all of his shit has like his same feel. Like it's Tarantino. Like
Very
I feel like with
distinct.
Fincher stuff, you almost
yeah,
like Benjamin Button. Like I don't know if that doesn't feel like Fincher to me. Like that's kind of just random. You know what I
definitely.
mean?
Yeah,
mhm,
But like all
definitely.
of Tarantino shit, I feel like that it's Tarantino. You know what I mean?
I
yeah,
think that the benefit of that is the fact that it's all original. Like it's all his, It's
Yeah.
not any other
One
source material
voice.
besides Jackie Brown. But even Jackie Brown, he changed the characters and, race swapped and gender
Hmm.
swapped. So
yeah.
What
yeah.
does
Yeah.
Tarantino mean to you, Alex?
Yeah, it's gonna sound like I'm just like saying this to say it, but like he quite literally changed how I watch movies because when I went through his movies for the first time, that was when I like changed my perspective on what movies can be, I guess. Just because like before I loved watching movies and I would turn on like I would look forward to the next sci-fi movie coming on at the end of the week, just 90 minutes to stimulate me. And it's bad CGI, bad writing, but then I watched all of his filmography and I was like, so this is what it's like to be like a great writer and make a solid, entertaining, punchy, just good character writing. And yeah, so like it just kind of changed my perspective and how I am more patient with movies and had like a more open mind to what there can be. So
I feel that he did open my
That's
mind
dope.
a little bit when I was younger
Yeah,
too, to just like
yeah,
I mean, maybe it's just how he can like capture you in his films, but he does like bring you in and then kind of
yeah,
bring you to a quality threshold that is hard to live up
yeah,
to. So,
right. And
that's true.
like with Pulp Fiction, I mean it's 2 hours and almost 40 minutes, right? So it's like as a wee lad watching that, normally I'd be like, okay, I'm checked out, but like he keeps you
Yeah,
engaged for the whole time with interesting stories that eventually connect, and then you have something to think about, And that
like
was like the first time that I was like watching a movie and that connected for me, and I was like, damn, this can happen on screen. So
yeah.
it's just cool.
cool. I will say, I think I'd like to imagine that like everyone remembers the first time or the first Tarantino movie they
That's
watched.
what I was just gonna say. Like, cause like
Really?
I don't know
Yeah.
if I necessarily remember mine. I think it's like one of the Kill Bills, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that instantly had like some kind of impact on me, or like and it was just like fucking ridiculous. But it
Yeah.
was just like I
Very
don't know.
memorable.
Like yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Like I don't. It was like imprinted on my fucking mind. Like
Mhm.
Yeah. To where it's like, oh, I could watch more by this guy, or
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Mine was Inglorious Bastards on HBO in my early teens or whatever. I just
I
like
can't
caught it,
remember.
and then I remember just like the feeling of being like transported into a different like type of movie that I had felt
Yeah.
before. It was like it was way different.
That
Same.
was the first one I saw was Inglorious Bastards. My buddy, he's
That's
into
crazy.
war. He does reenactments and stuff. So to him, it was just another like war movie. But when he put it in, I was like, "There's something special about this war movie that like sticks out."
Yeah,
So,
for the
and the
alternate
fact that like
history.
Tarantino can write a movie that's not even majority of it's not in English and it's still entertaining as fuck, you know. So
Yeah.
Hard to
yeah, like
do.
holy shit.
That's wild. I mean, I guess it's. I mean, it's cool that like three of our first Tarantino movies were Inglorious Bastards.
yeah,
That's just interesting.
It's
But I
around that
remember,
time
like,
for us, probably.
yeah, I was gonna say, it probably sounded like saw it near the, yeah. But I remember like watching Reservoir. Like, I think after Inglorious Bastards, and I found out who Tarantino was, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back and watch like his first one and watching this, and like that just solidified like how amazing he is as a filmmaker. I was like, damn, this is his first film. It's like one location mostly, and it's fucking so engaging. Like
Mhm.
all that,
yeah.
like it's like this mystery, fucking robbery, who done it. It's like, oh man, I was just amazed. It was just inspiring
Yeah.
to see after, and then to like to just, go from Inglorious Bastards, this fucking, I mean, what he probably considered his masterpiece, to something still like that good. I was like, damn,
Right.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Goddamn.
Well,
god
from
damn, a little
his
film.
well, from his first film to his last, should we just talk about Once Upon a Time before we do our rankings then?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do
sounds
it.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. The last film. Remember seeing this one in theaters a couple years ago. It's a good
Yeah.
time.
Fuck
Yeah, I
Uh,
think
yeah.
I had like only seen this in the theater. Like I think I've only seen it one other time and it was in the theater. And then so this time was like I don't know,
yeah.
kind of just different. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember really enjoying it, but not thinking it was my favorite Tarantino movie the first time I saw it in theaters. And then
Yeah.
subsequent rewatches have elevated it to a status of like extreme enjoyment when I watched this movie.
Nice.
This watch through, I felt the enjoyment levels, but I will say this is one that I think just kind of stays at the same enjoyment level and might not get better and better on rewatches. It did the first couple times, and now it's kind of like leveled out maybe for me. So I don't know. It's a great movie. Yeah, love it. What do you guys think about
So
it?
cap out at like
Yeah.
5 watches, you're saying?
No, I'm gonna keep
I
watching it
feel like
forever.
I like formed a few new like connections. I feel like watching this the second time
Yeah,
that I didn't
dude.
catch the first time. And I think it might just be because of like watching all of his other shit before this too. Cuz like to me, like starting off you like one of the first scenes it introduces bounty law and like I don't know like the two movies before this like you have a main character that's like a bounty hunter and like I don't know from this perspective it's like them making a movie about or like making media about a bounty hunter and
Hmm.
it's like kind of like meta in a sense where it's like Tarantino making fucking western shit you know
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Pacino talking to DiCaprio, where he's
Najima,
like
Najima.
five fists of McCluskey, and it's like just him, the Nazis, like he's just burning Nazis. Like
yeah
he's just,
right
Somebody order fried sauerkraut.
I mean, it's like Inglorious Bastards, Django. He's just
yeah
like throwing it back
Yeah.
to like his other shit, and like kind of seeing where he's
Yeah.
at now with like his characters and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, I
he's
think
having a
that,
lot of
like,
fun in this movie.
right. This watch through, it like endeared me a little more the first time, because the first time I was like, it did strike me a little bit. I was like, damn, is he just like tooting his own horn a little bit here, or like what? But no, yeah, it's just fun to see now.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw this in theaters, I drug Sarah to go see it with me, and then after that, I got back from Texas, and I continued to drag everybody I knew to go see this with me. I saw this in theaters. I think total at the end of it all was 6 times, and then after it came out on Blu-ray, I would watch it once a week, and then fall asleep to it. So I fucking
Damn,
love this
son.
movie.
Nice.
So
It's
yeah.
definitely the
And every
most
time
like
I watch it, it gives me goosebumps, and I love it. It's a great
nice,
movie.
yeah. Definitely
Yeah.
like the most feel good of Tarantino's catalog.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like the most vibey, you know, just like straight up
Yeah.
enjoyment, like on a style level, I'd say. Uh, yeah,
Yeah, LA.
Yeah.
and
And I love
mindset.
the way he approached the 3 act structure too, because like the first act is short and it's the first day. The second act is the longest and it's the second day, and you get to know the characters. And the third act is obviously the other shortest, and it's the climactic moment. So
time jump ahead.
it's, it's good approach,
Yeah, it
and
is.
yeah, yeah, I want to live in this movie. I think
Right.
I want to stick around. It's like a nice hug. I
Yeah.
love it.
I mean, it's like as far as like his like fantasy revisionist like movies go, it fits like nicely into his films too.
Mhm.
With like Inglorious Bastards and Django and those ones, but this one, like I said, it's like the most feel good. It's got the happiest ending I think of all of his movies. Like
I was gonna ask
Yeah.
about that
works out.
actually.
Inglorious
Um,
Bastards.
True,
I
somewhat.
was gonna ask. So, do you think the ending is like a happy ending?
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
think it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
that's it.
circumvents like the natural tragedy that happened to like a
Yeah.
What
brighter
does he?
future.
Right. It feels almost like
But
social justicey, where it's
Here to
like,
do devil shit.
but the thing
The
is
devil.
though, did he prevent it or did he postpone it? Because I mean,
I think he prevented it
as the
because like
camera's
that
panning
action of
away, the
that
eerie
night.
music.
Yeah, the action of that night where the hippies broke in and like murdered somebody. Obviously, they went to the house next door or whatever.
yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
will hippies go out and do that again? I don't know, maybe. But like, I think like this
Well, they
national
did.
tragedy is like no, that will never be like a thing. You know?
Well, they
Yeah,
did in real
that.
life, right? I mean, there was multiple murders that happened like that, the witchy kind of murders. So
Yeah.
I don't really
for the
know about
Manson
him, but I
family.
know they
Yeah.
call them the Manson murders. Yeah,
Mhm.
like plural.
Boy, do
But
I
I
have a book
I
for
didn't know
you
if that was just like
guys.
one house, with multiple
That's what I
people, or
thought. But
Yeah. That was my
I
understanding.
I don't
mean,
really actually know.
do you
So
think like there's like a sad ending there then?
I mean, I just feel
like
like
they'll come back.
it's the
Charlie will
once
come
upon a
back.
time where it's like it's as a happy ending for now, and it's just we're living in this moment of like, okay, it's
Hmm.
postponed. Hollywood isn't changed yet. Like this whole atmosphere of this tragedy that kind of stained this era, and moving forward, it hasn't happened, but it's still. I mean, it's still. It happened in real life, so this I don't know. I just feel like this is happy for now. We're living in
Yeah.
this moment,
I mean, it
so
still feels
Interesting.
like
'Cause,
things are going to change in the future. I kind of get that
yeah.
vibe,
yeah,
but
I got that in this watch through a lot more, mostly because like I don't know, throughout I was just like focusing on Cliff and uh Rick's friendship a lot more. Like and like in this third act when he's like coming back from doing all the Italian westerns and it's like, he doesn't really know what he's gonna do next, and Cliff doesn't really know what the fuck he's gonna do because they kind of like are diverging now or whatever. Um, I don't know. By the end of it, it's like, well, this is an action that like feels like it. If they weren't already, like Cliff is just gonna be in Rick's life probably forever. Like just like
yeah, they're
defended his
bonded.
house and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And
Hmm.
and then on top of that, when he gets invited into Sharon Tate's house, that was almost like a, oh shit, are we like next step in the career? He's in Roman Polanski's house now,
Yeah.
like with all these young actors and
Yeah.
actresses, like so that was
Yeah.
like that
His
took me
career
off as
could like
like
be redefined now. Like
yeah,
that he's in the
he
cool
might be like
club.
revitalized or something. Yeah. So I was like, that's to me it felt like, oh, this could just like be going nowhere but up. But I don't know. On top of the whole fairy tale aesthetic,
That's, I mean, I think the fairy tale too,
Yeah.
and that maybe seals it for me as like true happy ending, where it's
Yeah.
like once upon a
I
time.
mean, I could see the happy ending. I'm not saying it's not a happy ending. I was just thinking
Yeah,
about it this watch through, where it's like
it's
it
melancholy.
feels happy, and then it's kind of got eerie music behind it, so it's kind of like,
Mhm.
are we supposed to feel happy, or are we just supposed to be like, oh, this is in this moment,
Made it
it's
out.
it's
Yeah.
good.
That music
Yeah.
to me felt like mystic Tarantino. It wasn't like eerie. It was
Yeah.
like sending you
Okay,
off in
yeah,
like Tarantino's own way of like
I did actually make a
happiness.
note that I don't think there was even like an intro sequence in this movie,
Very slow
and
and
there
subtle.
there
Like
definitely wasn't any like music at the beginning either, which I thought was like a different tone that he usually does, because I feel like he usually has like an intro with some
sure.
banging music.
It's just like a slow pullback on Jake
Rick Dalton's
Cahill, not
face.
Jake Cahill, Rick Dalton's. Yeah, it's just like
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
anguish smile or whatever, and then like
Yeah.
just like pulling, and then they get in the car and just like fucking drive.
I also
Honestly,
like. Oh, you go. You
I
go.
was just gonna say this is probably my favorite soundtrack of all the Tarantino movies as well.
Really,
Like it
Oh
just
yeah.
kind of rips. So
I like
yeah.
how it's like the classic like groovy shit, and then it's like you have a lot of the like old TV show music. Like that's like the
Yeah.
eerie shit where it's like when like he's in the Spawn Ranch house and it's just
Oh
like
my
that
god.
music in the
Oh yeah.
background and shit. Like
That is tense.
it's like a
Yeah.
nice mix of those two things. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Tarantino can really like write obviously a suspenseful scene, but like this is he has my favorite scenes of all time of all movies, but like this is like number two for me, the Spawn Ranch scene. And
Really.
then when Tex is running back on his horse, I love that fucking shot where it
Mhm.
just it comes up to it, the drone shot at the top, and it's just like I love it. So
I
yeah,
thought you were
it
gonna say the scene
gets
where
me
he just like
juiced.
where Cliff just fucking knocks that like
Oh,
just
that too.
yeah. I was like,
Ladies, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
good.
scene is great. I think what makes
yeah.
this one not really like elevate on rewatch for me as much is like some of the like
Knowing what
that scene.
happens.
I mean, it's just like something is lost, I will say. But then the like release of that scene is that it doesn't matter, kind of like all your expectations are subverted, and then it just chills out, which like
Yeah.
eases
Like
back into
literally,
the vibe of the movie.
the next
So
shot, he's basically
Yeah.
just in a different spot picking up Rick. So like,
yeah,
or picking up,
right.
picking up Rick. So like, I don't know.
I mean, it's very.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie moves very slow, and you just follow characters too. So if you're not on board for just like slow moving, obviously a lot of driving shots and just like walking shots and stuff like that. I mean, that's where this movie's more style than substance. I think there's a lot of substance and there's a lot of fun and character stuff, and it's this is. I think this is the best movie about making movies, or one of them, the most entertaining at least, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think it still kind of falls into some traps of just like not having a lot to do. I don't know. There's
I just
arguments about
remembered
Margot Robbie in this
there's like
story too, but I don't really.
when they're in Italy and
That's
they're
a
going over
silly
like the
argument.
directors and like the movies that he's in. I forget what the first name is, but one of the guys is like Antonio Margheriti.
Deals with
And I'm like,
Margot's
holy
bullshit.
shit! Like, yeah. How could that not like? How could you not remember that? You know, like,
Right.
uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there. I
but
mean,
like,
there's a lot of funny, like I don't know, funny moments in this film too. I mean, I
Oh,
feel
it's
like the Leo
hilarious.
freak out is
yeah,
like,
Mhm.
you know, that blew up.
Oh,
dude, I
Um,
actually I
with
ordered one of those
Trippin,
mugs,
obviously.
like of that set of mugs that he got.
Oh, like
I
oh,
ordered
really?
one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jake Cahill
Nice.
One
mugs
where
or
he
whatever.
makes the drinks or whatever in, or
Yeah, like I don't even know what it's from, to be honest, but I just kind of like the mug.
What the
I
Stein?
know
The
what
beer
it's from.
Stein?
yeah.
No, like he's got this like little like white mug, and they're like each like different colors and shit.
Ah,
So
Yeah,
Oh,
I got a
okay.
blue one.
hmm.
nice.
I don't know.
Take a look.
I'll
Yeah,
show
we
you when
should.
it shows up.
Yeah. Yeah. I
We'll all
mean,
get the rest of the colors and have fucking
Yeah,
Rick
right.
yeah, I'll be sipping. Yeah, I mean that's a big highlight of this movie for me is the characters. The humor, it's hilarious, but like the characters, just following them. I mean,
Oh,
just
yeah.
like chilling, watching TV. They're literally just doing that in like a scene, and I don't know. I mean, them bouncing off each other is like they're carrying a lot of the movie just on their back. I think as actors, but in a
I
good way.
feel like
I think this
some
is
like one thing I picked up on this watch through was that like to me, I feel like Rick is like basically the main character instead of like Cliff, even though Rick I don't know. I feel like as a viewer, you kind of like are under the assumption that like that Rick is like the main character because he is like the actor and like Cliff is just the stuntman. But I feel like most of the screen time is with Cliff. Like and like some
Mhm.
is with Sharon because you know like you have to like introduce her character and have her like doing shit to like
Mhm.
remember that she's like gonna be in it at the end. But
Yeah.
like I feel like most of your time is spent with Cliff. And then like also at the Spawn Ranch scene, I feel like it makes you realize that like Cliff is basically doing the same thing, or it could be like assumed that Cliff is doing the same thing to Rick that like these hippies are doing to George or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
like
I
yeah.
didn't catch that before. I just thought it was kind of interesting, but like it seems like Cliff is actually loyal to Rick and they are actually friends. But
Yeah.
like I feel
Yeah,
like it is supposed to make you question it, but like I don't know, I feel like it's like really subtle or something that I in particular didn't pick up before, but I don't know. I just thought
no,
it was like
for
kind of
sure.
an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I think I like I said because I was kind of like analyzing their relationship more this watch through than I think I did before in other ones, and yeah, that was like a really good. I mean, and the fact that he like supposedly killed his wife, I think is supposed to make you like question if he's like a good guy or if he can like be
Mhm.
trusted or that kind of thing. Um,
I
and
think they're
yeah,
both bad people, but
I mean they're not great
I mean, he's
people.
not a good person, I don't
Yeah.
think.
I
Like
mean, yeah, Cliff killed his wife,
Yeah.
um, and
and
then
I mean
Rick is
like
just an asshole.
I'm
So
just saying if
And
like
beat up
Cliff
Bruce Lee and yeah.
I don't know. Like Cliff
allegedly,
is like
Yeah.
pretty old and like that he's just like picking up some hippie chick who's like that young, like is
Yeah.
pretty fucking
It's
like
sus.
weird. I mean, like
Yeah.
He's like a
I don't
drifter
know.
type, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
like
Right.
has Brad
that's
Pitt's
Right.
looks.
kind of gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do
Just
love
Oh
has
yeah.
Brad Pitt's looks.
yeah.
He's kind of trailer trash, He's like living in a
Uh,
trailer. Fucking
I
yeah.
basically yeah.
living out back,
Yeah.
kind of a movie theater. I mean, just the vibes of
Right.
that shot too. But
Yeah, that's
one
cool.
Yeah.
moment I love is like the acknowledgement of the flashback that happens with Brad Pitt, where it's like he's like
yeah,
on the roof working, and he's like thinking back to like what he did,
Hmm.
and then it
Yeah.
comes like you see the flashback, which is whatever, it's a fine scene or whatever. And
I
then it
totally
comes back
forgot
to
that it was a
him.
flashback. Like until it came
Yeah,
back and I'm like,
it's like
oh
a
Yeah.
long
shit, it's a
enough,
flashback.
right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he's like smoking, he's just like, all right, like I
yeah,
don't know, that's just a really fun way to do a flashback. I feel like where the character like acknowledges it at the end, in like
He's
a
like
good way.
actually remembering it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Usually they're
cool.
just like staring off, and then they just like look away and then do something else,
Mhm.
after the flashback's over. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so I think I had a point. Oh no, but like my conclusion of my Rick Dalton Cliff Booth friendship analysis was that they're equally not like great guys. They're equally kind of like symbiotic. Like they kind of just like use each other for support when they need it. Like he's asking him to like put his name in for a job on set.
Yeah.
He's always driving him everywhere. Rick like kind of just needs him for moral support, emotional support,
Yeah.
yeah.
because he's breaking down on set, thinking about how his career's over. So yeah, I don't know. It was super fun. I don't know. I put on my fucking
When he's fucking breaking down in that
goggles.
trailer and he like
yeah.
I'm never gonna drink again and then like the next shot is him drinking.
Yeah, tosses it out. Couldn't have two
Goddamn
whiskey
alcoholic.
sours. I'd have fucking 8. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think this is Leo's best performance. I think I've finally decided.
Really,
I think this is it. Yeah,
it's one of the most revealing. I feel like him. It's like
yeah,
scathing to an actor, but also like you're saying though, like his weakness that he need, like he's so needy and like I don't know. That's like a very raw thing for an actor to do. I'd say, which
yeah, definitely.
props to him for sure.
That's so I have this debate with my other two buddies where they say that they've been saying this is his best performance, and I've been like saying no, it's Django, or The Wolf of Wall Street, and I've been holding strong, but finally I think I caved. I think I'm like, yeah, I think
It'll
this is
just be
it. I
whichever
think
one
this
you
is
watch last, right? That's
right,
gonna be
right, yeah. So
yeah. Um,
yeah,
I guess
I feel like you've said that like almost every movie.
right.
Like you're like the rankings are changing up.
Yeah,
Like I
now
think
it's
this is
one.
the
Now
new
it's
top.
it's so hard.
he's doing
This is
Yeah,
this
different
is
things in all of them.
challenging.
Mhm. Different attempts as an
Yeah,
actor, so it's hard to kind of like gauge which one is the best. But
yeah.
yeah,
Characters. Yeah.
yeah. I do have a question though. I mean, the end of this movie obviously goes a complete right turn into like insanity and violence and shit like that. It's really fun. Love it. It like caps the movie in this way that's like obviously Tarantino. I don't know. To me, there is a slight like disconnect of tone in this movie though, where it's like vibey and chill the whole fucking time, and then like the last 10 to 15 minutes.
Or like
It
hyper violent.
well, it feels almost
Yeah.
like Tarantino basically doing it because like it's his brand now, where it's like, oh well, they're expecting me to, kind of do.
Like you needed some violence in there. You just had to throw in a dose of extreme violence.
Got to
Well,
slam
I mean, I
heads
feel
in
For
the
like
wall
10
10
minutes and then you're
times,
done,
and
yeah.
then
Yeah,
get
holy
it,
fuck.
like.
well,
Yeah.
So
I
it's
feel
just like,
like
That was pretty excessive.
I mean, what makes
I
it work, I think,
disagree, but yeah, go
you
ahead,
know, and what
Alex.
makes it work, and
It
I'm
was
going to
fine.
defend
It
it, of
just
course.
yeah,
I liked it, to be honest. I don't think it
I mean,
was
I
off.
like it too. It's
I'm just
Yeah.
just,
saying it was a very
Yeah.
extreme. Like
yeah,
I mean, let me try to
I
justify
actually
it, I
think that comes
guess.
from a place of love
please.
from Tarantino. If that sounds crazy, I think it's his love of Hollywood and like this weird like retribution he's trying to like
It's
instill
revenge
in the audience.
oriented.
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
get that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so
Mhm.
I don't know.
Defend
But
it,
I mean,
Alex. What you got?
have you guys read any of about the Manson murders and what they did to Sharon Tate and the family,
Yeah,
like the people
it's
that were living there?
bad.
Yeah.
Pretty
Right.
fucked up.
So I mean, I guess the way I view it is they were supposed to do something witchy, right? And so when they go to Sharon Tate's house and
The
they like,
devil stuff.
yeah, and there was so
We're here
much
to do
blood on the
devil shit.
scene where it was
The wheels
just
of
it was
donuts.
caked on all the carpets and it was a fucked up scene and some like the police officers and people who saw it were like it was like the most disturbing thing they've seen, right? So I guess in that respect, this is just the reverse. This is what the hippies got. Like this is kind of I guess the
For
payback
sure.
of
Right.
that is like this extreme violence that's happening where a woman's constantly screaming in the background because she's getting attacked or her face is busted up and Brad Pitt's just demolishing this girl and yeah, so I don't know. I just feel like in that way it's kind of just justified where it's like
Yeah.
Hmm.
this extreme violence is kind of just flipped,
I just feel
you know?
like
A recreation,
you
but
have to
yeah.
know something. You have to have knowledge outside the movie for that to be like
Definitely.
fully connected. Which, like, if I mean, most people nowadays that have seen this movie specifically probably don't even fucking know like anything about it. Like those
Oh,
actors that they pop up on the
definitely.
screen, I barely know them. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
it's I wonder like if a younger moviegoer nowadays sees this movie and they just see like chill vibes and then ultra violence without connecting the dots and you just see
I
like
think that's
women being like
Yeah,
fucking like I just like
that's
I think
weird.
that's where this
I
movie had a
mean,
big
to be
disconnect
honest, though, I
because
feel like you
yeah.
it
could
is
say that about a lot of Tarantino's movies.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's just like that people just are attracted to the like extreme violence. So I mean, and they miss
Yeah.
kind of the point of the actual plot and how good they actually are.
but
For
at the
sure.
same
Yeah.
time, now, like I know this movie got a bad rep for the Margot Robbie stuff, where it's like, oh, she didn't get enough scenes, and it's supposed to be about. But the scenes that she did get were like perfect. I mean, she was the epitome of the
I
goodness. Like
agree.
she is just straight good, pure good in
She's
this
just
movie
living her
full of
best life.
such
It's kind of what I
bad
got.
things, right? You know, and it's like, and her enjoying the art that she made where she was just finally getting her foot in the door, you know, and just getting started. Where I don't know, it was perfectly made. And then the Heat, where it's like, oh, well, Margot Robbie had the least amount. Are we counting lines in movies? Honestly, like
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The purpose she served, I think it was perfect, you know.
Yeah.
And I
Symbolic.
think the character itself was a perfect amount of time. She cooked. That's all we needed.
I
I
don't know. I
agree.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I
I
could
thought it was
see that,
fine.
but I could also see more
Yeah.
for that character, especially when you rally an entire story around it. But I mean, in a way, I guess you don't rally the story, but when I
No,
first heard this
Yeah.
movie being
Premise.
like discussed, because I remember following it before it was even made, where it's like it has to do with the Manson murders, Sharon Tate murders, and it's just like when you tie that to your movie, I feel like you are kind of like taking on something in a way. Obviously, Tarantino has his own goals, but like,
I think that's with like the Spawn Ranch scene where the entire time you're thinking Brad Pitt's gonna die, but then your expectations are subverted. That's this entire movie because at least my first watch through, I'm like, all right, when's the Tate murders gonna happen? When's this gonna
Yeah.
happen?
mm,
And then they subvert your expectations. They never happen. In fact, the hippies die. Sharon Tate lives, and then the once upon a time dot dot dot. You know, it's like aha. So I don't know. I just feel like the whole movie in itself was just took your expectations. They were like, "Fuck you,
yeah,
I'm doing it my way,"
no,
you know.
yeah,
So
Yeah. So put a little respect in your voice there, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
what the fuck? Get out
No,
of
I
here.
just I remember watching this in the theater and like I had this distinct feeling that only like half the theater got it. It was like a weird like
Yeah.
oh, definitely.
I can see
That
that.
I felt
Yeah.
the same exact way the first time I watched it, 'cause it was me and Sarah and, like, 6 other people who were just, like, 40-year-old dudes, and they come in, they're like, "This is the Tarantino movie, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
Yeah, you're in the right spot.
Yeah, so I just feel like they
And
kinda
then they
were,
were
like,
pissed off on the
expecting
way
it.
out.
Right. They were kind of expecting a Tarantino movie, and it was a Tarantino movie, it was just his love poured into one movie of what Hollywood meant to
Old
him, you
Hollywood,
know?
yeah. I do
Yeah.
love that he like revitalized like Hollywood Boulevard and stuff like that. He like remade
Oh,
signs and
cool.
put new lights up and basically like
Oh, fucking rocks, yeah.
brought
Yeah.
new life to it. Yeah, good on him.
That's dope.
Well, I mean, I guess rankings. I'm gonna leave it at
Yeah.
4.5. You know, super solid.
4.5.
I think that's what I gave it
Alright,
too.
alright.
Such a disservice. No,
Yeah, I
okay.
gave it 4.5.
That's fair. It's fair.
5 stars every time.
Yeah, I gave it 5 stars.